Okay, very good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Actually, frankly, it's a lot of hard work, months and months of planning, actually. When Mr. Koo tells me about this, I say, of course, we will support and help out and contribute in any way. And a word of thanks to William, Ramesh, the team, and all the panel professors here, and all the super smart people here. Welcome, welcome. Congratulations. A lot of good work. And this is a start to something really, really great. All right? Okay. I would like to talk about science fiction to STEM. How science fiction shapes nation innovation. All right? Now, first of all, right, we have to know what is happening in the world at this present moment. The first thing to note is the change of the demographics of the family. All right? Now, a typical family basically have one kid, no kid, or maybe maximum 2 kids. 3 kids also, sometimes people say accident really, because so expensive to raise a kid at this present moment. All right? So if you look at it, like say in Singapore or China for that matter, right? Normally people will actually have 1 kid. And then the kid is the emperor, the king of everything and stuff like that. So this is the thing that's happening. And everybody treat the kid that they have is like, wow, that's the prince of the house, that's the princess of the house, and that is what is happening at the present moment. And sometimes, right, being a parent also is very difficult, you know. You dance to the tune of what your kid want actually, you know, because you love them so much and every little thing matters so much. But what is happening now? The kids want singing, dancing, storytelling, all the fun stuff. But when it comes to STEM, I have to use the brain, suck it, tiring, burn a lot of oxygen when I'm using a lot of brain to think. I don't want. All right? So for the country, right, what is actually STEM? Science, technology, and so on. It's the language of progress. It's the language of money. All right? Like Mate says, they need to do maths and science in English because English will actually help you to learn maths and science, and that will actually make money as such. All right? So, I want to take a photo of you guys because this is going to be orang kaya very soon. Okay, I'm actually documenting today, you know, and track your life later on how far you've gone because you started with science and technology. Okay, so the thing is, let's look at a case study from Singapore actually. All right. Now, Singapore, this is called the Science Adventure. All right. I think William also have some copies as such. And then these books actually have chosen by the Ministry of Education for the whole country, the libraries as such like that. Now, how does this thing started and how does the birth of Science Adventure started? You see, a case study is that a group of think tanks in Singapore was approaching the secretary of the Publisher Association. They said, hey, you all Malaysian are very lucky. You have petroleum, you have kelapa sawit, you have all the natural resources. But in Singapore, the only resources you have is human resources. If you don't build the human resources, the brains and stuff like that, right? 1% of Chinese population become PhD, the PhD will be more than the other Singapore population. All right? How do you compete globally? So when it comes to investment in the people and the children, no compromise. They spend as much as possible to build a very strong foundation in STEM for the people. But then if the kids say, I don't want to learn, I want singing, dancing, I don't want STEM, what do you do? All right? So they come out with this publishing program where they actually teach STEM using graphic novels or comics when they are 3 years old. 3 years old they start. Because they want to instill the love for STEM and science in the kids when they're young, so that it will flow and progress accordingly. Once you love science, you continue loving science. Simple things like a 3-year-old will look at a book and saw a lizard or a cicak and say, Daddy, the cicak tail dropped already. Will the cicak die? The daddy say, I don't know. Will the cicak die? They say, the kid tell the daddy, hey, it's a decoy. And then later the cicak will come and fight again, but they see the fellow so big, it's a decoy. Then the father said, wow, 3 years old, using the word decoy. what the heck? They say, Daddy, you don't know, man? You're so old, decoy, you also don't know, man? It's like such a big word, Then the kid feels so good about himself that he knows the word decoy and the father doesn't know. They build a confidence. Then he go and read more and tell the story to the rest of the family member. It could be something simple where a 5-year-old can actually talk to the mom. Mom, why are you yawning? Mom said, yeah, I've been tired working and stuff like that. Mom, you yawn because you're always on that phone. You don't sleep enough. You don't drink enough water. You don't do this. Because why? I learned this from the science book. So the mom is actually very happy that the kid actually telling the mom. Then the 5-year-old feel that she's luckier and smarter than the mom. The one that I like a lot is a 7-year-old girl go to the popo, the nene, and tell the nene, my sister can actually sleep in a class with the eyes open. They say, that's ridiculous. How is it possible that my sister can sleep in the class with the eyes open? Anybody knows? Nobody knows, right? So a 7-year-old will say, because of the goldfish effect. Then the grandma say, goldfish effect? What is that? Popo, you live on this earth so many years. You're 70 years, so you never learn the goldfish effect. All right? The goldfish effect, because the goldfish has got no eyelid. The eye is always opening. So sometimes the eye is recording, sometimes not recording. Then the grandma says, wow, out of these 70 years, this is something that's most profound I learned. I understand. High five, high five. Why? Said, I tell your gong gong 5 items, he only remember 2 or 3 only. The other time he's sleeping with the eyes open actually. So they become best of friends, and the science comic actually brought a lot of fun to them. So when the kids feel that they're very good, very clever, and the thing is that sometimes they think maybe someday when I go to college, I learn something from kindergarten, I can actually impress my girlfriend with 1 or 2 science thing that I learned in school. And then my girlfriend will think that, hey, this is the man I want to be because he's steady, he's smart, he's intelligent and stuff like that. And once people feel good about themselves, all right, the image, the respect that they gain from people, they will continue to love science. So basically, how this thing works is that people always talk about using edutainment to learn as such. But what this thing does is that they do the reverse engineering. They use edutainment to go into education, all right? To start them well, to start them right actually. All right, this program basically uses the concept of 80% comics and 20% non-fiction. Now, let me share with you, it covers all kinds of topics. If you see, like biology, chemistry, physics, technology, and stuff like that. So every story have a purpose of science in mind, actually. All right. Now let's look at one of the story where they talk about how is it being the science that you learn. People say I learned science, physics, chemistry. What has it got to do with me? All right. What relevance has it to my life actually? So, like say for example, this is a simple concept about physics, where the kids play table tennis or ping pong, and after that they use the hairdryer to dry the head, and then after that, right, they use the hairdryer to put on the ping pong, whether the ping pong ball can float or cannot float as such like that. So it's a simple concept, right? So they talk about it, how the science concept works and how the hairdryer actually works. And then the thing is that you go and try and take your mother's hairdryer and put a ping pong ball and try it as well. So it's very, very interesting that they say, hey, that's why I learned physics, it's interesting to me. This one really works, Then the first one, you go to school, tell the friend, hey, hairdryer can make the ping pong ball float, well, it doesn't fall, as such. So these are the things that matters. Then later people say, hey, are we losing our humanity, our, what do I call that? The art side, the art side of us, hard science. What about the soft sciences, the art actually? So then we actually added, for every of these science issue, we added an A. Like say for example, this issue we have 1 page about the large cartoonists drawing art and how actually art actually affect your perception of life actually. All right. So this is the thing, and then the thing is that from this thing, right, you talk about innovation, how actually we have innovated and stuff like that. So for every year, right, we actually pick who is the best cartoonist, and then you talk about AI and stuff like that. If you use AI to draw the cartoons, all right, the face, the expression, the eyes is not as good as hand-drawn by a real person actually. But of course AI will progress and improve, and it's going to get better and better. So we pay a lot of extra money for the best artists to draw. Every year we use a different artist to draw. It could be a watercolor concept and so on and so forth, rather than just get AI to draw all the things as such. Because why? When you want to reach the kids at a young age, you give the best technology, the best quality to them, so that they fall in love with science. All right? And later when they heard anything about science, the mind really have the visualization of the best art possible. All right? That's how they started. And the innovation of moving towards, like say, this whole thing, right? We did a project with the Japanese government where we use this kind of comics for public education. Now, what does this mean by public education? Now, even before COVID and started, Japanese has been wearing masks, all right? They said you should brush your teeth and you should wear your mask. You eat all kinds of sushi, people smell you very fishy and stuff like that. So it's like simple science concept like this, you know. And then they said, actually it's very impolite to fart in a small company because all the space are small, restaurant is small, house is small and stuff like that. You want to fart, go outside. Once you fart, your fart will affect the whole room and everybody can smell you. Simple concept like that. Or I like one, they say, do not go and bite your fingernails. Why? You go and scratch your brother's back, after that you bite your fingernails. It's totally disgusting. So when they tell it in a story, in a comic format, right? People say, okay, I understand already. So it's one of the easiest and best ways for public education that they do. All right, so the thing is that, is STEM sufficient? All right, do we need more? Sometimes, basically, when we learn anything in school, right, we learn a whole array of stuff, not just science and technology. We learn about general knowledge, we learn about mental health and so on and so forth. I don't know whether I've got more time to share with you one more example. Because of the fact that everybody, every child is special, all right? Now this project is that we're looking at case study, what the Hong Kong and China government is doing actually. They said, I want my kid to be the future emperor. Because one kid, who owns the kid? You guess, in the, especially Hong Kong, Macau, China, it's about 8 adults have ownership of one kid. Why? They only have one kid, right? You do maths now, right? Father, mother, 2%, right? Then grandparents, 4%, right? How many now? 6, right? And then some uncle, auntie who don't get married, well, hey, that's my child also. Pinjam lah, lend a bit lah, all right? At least 8 people. So isn't the child very special? They said, okay. So if the child is going to be the emperor, who is going to educate the child? So what they did is that, okay, I don't care. All you guru, chegu, eunuchs or whatever, you aggregate all the news in the world and give in small bite size, because my son, the future emperor, they have no time to read. You do all the summary for my kid to read. And this is what we did. We have 30 editors in Ireland actually. Why Ireland? Because Ireland do all the education newspaper like Finland, Sweden, the happy people in the world actually read news, real life example, aligned to your daily work and daily life actually. But later on they find, hey, that wasn't very European. Can we have something more global perspective and something more towards this region, Asia Pacific as such. So we moved the whole editorial team for Ireland to London, metropolitan, where cover the whole world, and we want more emphasis in Asia Pacific, because Asia Pacific basically makes up the larger population of the world than anywhere else. So what they did is that very quickly, like say this issue about Pokemon overtaking the earth, and how does Pokemon function, how does it actually work? Cannot scroll down. Okay. Okay, just scroll down. Okay, stop. Now, then we look at the content, we look at the big story of, like say, a female flight or scientist, a big story is covering science and technology. Then, if you notice, right, you read one page, right, there's like 5 country news, all in bite size, bite size, bite size, bite size. All right? So this is like summarizing the whole thing. Then you look at what is happening in the world news. You don't need to read Panjang Lebar. Actually, frankly, honestly, we adult also. You ask me to read the Star newspaper, I just read the headlines today. I cannot read every page, I don't have time. And your children don't have time to read the whole thing. Just give me the summary, that's it. We watch football replay also. 9 minutes too long. Do you have the 3 minutes for that? I just want to see the goal only. Even we adults cannot tahan the long article. So give them the gist of it, because we live in a rich media era where our kids actually no attention span. All right? Especially paper attention span don't have. Media attention span, yes. Paper attention span don't have. So you got to do that. Now, this one, they refuse to have it in digital because they want the kid at a very young age to read. Why? Because too much of online, people are getting glaucoma earlier, and kids or teenagers going blind at an earlier age. So primary school, do this. Read the print actually. So Asia Pacific News, you have Weird Science, you have STEM, you have the cover features, arts, entertainment, tech talks, all in bite size, like how the binoculars work, how do they use AI in the binoculars. So you use the binoculars to look at the bird, you know what type of bird already, it linked with AI and stuff like that, right? Then the dance in the Olympics and a kind of a new thing. And then this one, right, is the puzzle. You make your brain work, all right? You have to train your brain actually. People always say, your brain, you don't use it. Use it or you lose it, all right? You don't use your brain, you lose your brain. And then the other thing is that you have to train your brain. When you train your brain, you earn it. Train it and you earn it. This is what Angela Duckworth was talking about during the graduation speech in University of Pennsylvania. Actually, there's no shortcut. You have to train your brain to earn your brain so that it can function properly, and it's good to be smart actually. All right, you will be the key person in any conversation because you know stuff, and people say this guy is always good. I always love listening to him. This thing. Then we look at well-being. Well-being is a very important thing. All right, especially after COVID, it's a super big thing. Simple things like why do you laugh? You have a problem, laugh at it first, lor. Then we don't feel so bad, then we solve the problem one by one actually, right? And then that's unbelievable, like what is false news, what is real news. Sometimes you watch a clip like say, I can talk to animals. Can actually people talk to animals? So you learn from the science explanation whether you can actually talk to animals. Then we have sports, all right? And then finally, right, we actually have this critical thinking page where we give you a topic, right? A simple topic like when I go to a holiday, shall I swim in the sea or swim in the swimming pool in a hotel? Then you think of the pros and cons and debate. Like this one, should we charge them for being late, paying the library fee, or should we let them go? So the pros and cons. So when you train your brain to assess critically, right, next time any case study that comes out, you would actually look into that kind of mindset that you always do critical thinking naturally. Okay, finally, actually, the thing is that what I'm going to do afterwards, I'll give you a QR. You download the news bites, an issue, all right, this issue. No, I give you another issue. I'm giving you the Lego 100th anniversary issue about news bites. And the other thing is that I also will give you the BBC Earth AI edition, the free copy. After that, all of you take up your phone, start preparing a phone now, download it. It's free for you actually because you come to this fair actually. And I'll share the code with you. Anybody that comes to your store or whatever, they get the version free because this is a very important and hot topic, all right? Now, we all Asian, right? We all kiasu a bit. BBC have 20 over companies. The most successful company is Science, History and Nature. But we Asians not going to buy 3 magazines. We're only going to buy one with the 3 best in one magazine. All right? Because we don't have time. We just get... But this one is really high level, critical thinking, top notch if you want to read the BBC magazine because you need a certain standard before you can read the BBC magazine. And in real life application, right, AI is a very big thing. We actually have AI searching built into the Britannica model. We have AI in the news model where they search the news for you. And like English Central, probably we may actually later do some scholarship to give to you guys, English for employability, all right? Depends what you want to do. And after you watch the video and learn the English lesson, the AI will come up to be your tutor. You can talk to the AI about anything about your English lesson or the video that you watch. It saves a lot of time because sometimes the cikgu don't have that kind of time to teach you. And EduSync actually basically is the online CFR exams where it's used by all the English teachers in Malaysia actually, where basically in the past, right, we use examiners to mark the listening, reading, speaking, and writing skills. But with AI, we train the machine up to a level that now all the exams are marked by AI. It's going to be more accurate than the human marking. So basically, a lot of examiners, no more job really. All right. So this is what is happening. Now the other thing is, now what is this? What does this picture mean? I was in Medan. A lot of kids, a lot of young people think, "Aya, don't study, never mind lor, drive Grab lor, be lala move worker and stuff like that lor." But this is going to be a long term. Listen to this lesson. This guy was inside the cab sleeping. I flagged him down. I asked, "Why are you sleeping?" He says, "I waited 2 hours, 3 hours, no customer. That's why I sleep in the car." Then says, "Why don't you use the app? The app takes 60% commission. The balance of the 40%, I'm going to pay petrol and feed my family. So do I use the app? Don't use the app." Then he says, "If you meet any young people later, tell them, don't be stupid. I was stupid because everybody says, drive Grab lor, and stuff like that." 1 minute. Drive Grab lor and stuff like that. But then it says, now there are so many driving Grab. And then later, like China, all the Grab, Gojek, and Uber and stuff like that will be autonomous driving. No more people driving it. Then I don't know what the heck to do. All right? So, upskill yourself, prepare yourself, learn science, technology, and stuff like that. Don't fall in the trap of getting the lazy way out. Just drive Grab or do delivery. No doubt it may be part-time, but full-time, get a proper job. All right, please scan this and get your free magazines. Later, I'll share the whole slide is there already. Later, we'll share the whole slide. And thank you very much for paying attention and hope you enjoy the rest of the session. All right, thank you.